Little kids, sometimes we don't give them the credit that they're due, right? They're really smart, they're really inquisitive, they have a lot of really brilliant ideas, and they're also really creative. We're all connected together, so the younger we start getting them to think about this idea of ecology and the interconnectedness of everything, the more likely they are to be good stewards of the planet. My name is Margaret LeJeune. I teach photography mostly at Bradley University, but I'm currently teaching a class called Art in the Environment, where we make work in response to environmental issues. Rebecca Hurst at the Peoria PlayHouse reached out to me last semester and asked if the Art in the Environment class would like to do some sort of collaboration at the Playhouse.
I'm Rebecca Schulman-Hurst, and I'm the director of the Peoria Playhouse Children's Museum. The Peoria Playhouse Children's Museum opened in June 2015. It's a children's museum with 6 interactive exhibits, and it's a great space for kids to come and learn through play. The collaboration began really organically with Margaret. We sat down to talk about how we could collaborate, and she brought up the Art in the Environment class.
We came up with kind of an ambitious project where we would use recycled materials to build an underwater adventure for the kids to play in. We have spent the last 14 weeks building the project, designing it together as a collaboration between faculty and students, and really working on it together as a group.
We are doing an installation for the Peoria Playhouse where we're making issues like plastic and climate change in the oceans more relevant in the Peoria community and more accessible for kids to learn about.
We started out collecting just like things that we used and things at home, but then we started to broaden our perspectives on that, and we were collecting from the dorms. And then we also recently organized a trip to the recycling center in Pekin and collected as much plastic bottles as we could. We have these 2 massive bags full. They're taking up like a whole hallway in the art building.
We've gotten so many people from the community donating all sorts of plastics to the Playhouse.
The coolest thing that we've been working on is the ceiling. It's made like out of recycled plastic bottles.
The students have spent an extensive amount of time cleaning those bottles. Each individual bottle has been picked out of recycling, cleaned and disinfected, filled with a little bit of dyed water to replicate the seawater, and then put into this chicken wire and secured in place and will be hung from the ceiling.
I worked with another student on the drawings, and obviously that's my major. We did like a sheet for what's gonna be like on the sandbox to make it look like a coral reef.
That part. I just said out loud, please print, and started doing the printing, and it all printed seamlessly, and it was like all the pieces were falling into place perfectly.
The albatross has been really fun. I started working on it with a partner, Devin, and at the beginning we were like, okay, what do we want to do? Do we want to have it like standing up or sitting down? We really had no idea like how to construct it, and then Margaret kind of helped us and guided us, and now it's actually becoming a bird. We named it Jessica Albatross.
Jessica here being made out of plastic and being filled with plastic. Like a bunch of albatross have died because they've been eating plastics from the ocean.
The most difficult part of the installation was, for me, the plastic turtle. It's difficult because there's no guidebook to, you can't just Google how to make a sea turtle out of recycled plastics, So we just kind of have to come up with it as we go.
The Clean Water Celebration happens every year around Earth Day, and it's an event to bring kids together to talk about ideas of how to celebrate water, clean water, how to protect water, and young kids who are coming in will actually be helping us to construct part of the PlayHouse installation.
It's been very fun, but very challenging.
It feels like you've been working for hours and you feel like you've collected so much, but when it comes to actually putting it in the context of our project, then it ends up not being as much as we thought.
We come into class every day like, oh my goodness, how much do we have to do today? But then we leave by saying, oh my gosh, we got so much done today.
This project has definitely made me feel even more connected to the environment, more connected to the oceans. So about 4 years ago, I started sailing every summer, living aboard my sailboat and making photographic work about the water. I find when I'm out sailing that I see a lot of plastic that is floating around out in the ocean. And so this project came out of some of those ideas of living on the water and wanting to protect it. When I talked to the students about what I was seeing out there in the class, they were equally as excited to make an installation that would teach the children about how they could help protect the oceans.
It's really shocking how much single-use plastic we all use, in a day, in a week.
We have a serious environmental crisis that's happening, and our visitors are going to inherit the world from today's adults, and they are the ones who are going to be responsible for making sure that it's healthy. It's our job as a children's museum to make sure that kids understand that this is an issue and feel empowered that they can shape tomorrow's world.
I love working with Margaret. She always gives so much for her classes. She's constantly working, coming up with new ideas, figuring out how to help us with our ideas, and then with this project, just going above and beyond to make sure that we get everything we need.
Working with Margaret is great. She's very passionate about it, and she also keeps us in check.
It's been a joy to work with Margaret. She's been working incredibly hard. Her students have been working incredibly hard. It's been a joy to be able to support this project coming to fruition.
A lot of work went into making this installation, and a lot of hours, a lot of people. The Peoria community and Bradley community also helped, and we're so grateful for that.
I think what they may not know is if they see our class of 8 people, we have had so much help from outside sources. Peoria Tire giving us the tires, and even the PlayHouse themselves helping us along with this.
Well, this has been a 3-month-long project, and putting it all together at the end, there's been a lot of hiccups to work through and a lot of unknowns. The students have come through like champions in figuring out how to work through all of the difficulties. And together as a team, it's been such a collaborative effort. They have just pushed through and made it all work. It might not have turned out exactly the way we planned it, but I think it actually turned out better than we planned it.
I'm just excited to see the kids hopefully be excited and enjoy what we've made. I really love kids. I think they're great. They have a lot to offer. And so I hope that by them seeing this, they'll learn, but also have fun with it.
We've been working on the ceiling part of it for a really long time, so I'm excited to see how it's going to look like in the actual room.
I think that that's going to be really beautiful, and even though the scale is intimidating to work with, I think that's what's going to be the most impressive part of it.
I'm most excited to see when they dive underwater, go through the vinyl flaps and they see the ceiling and the blue windows and everything, because it's all gonna just be blue and it's gonna be a totally different feel than what's in there right now.
I can't wait to see the kids run into the sand room and unveil the toys that the students are making. We're 3D printing toys that will be in the sandbox.
We're making these signs about, what you could do at home to help the environment. A lot of the little kids, they aren't really able to read yet, so we're hoping that the parents will read it to them and then kind of gain information and bring that back home.
Just seeing how the families interact with it, because we created the whole thing with both the children and the parents in mind. How can they be a part of their child's experience in this room?
I really hope that the students find a passion for environmental work, that they are able to make their own changes to their lifestyle to be able to facilitate a cleaner, healthier earth.
I was already really passionate about the environment, but collaborating with this class makes it a bigger audience and a bigger issue.
There's a lot of labor that's going into this, a lot of effort, and I hope that people can see that when they see the final installation, because it's raised our own awareness level. As much as we were already environmentally conscious, having the hands-on work with this stuff has made us think even more about what we use and what we dispose of.
It's been so great. Working with the PlayHouse folks has been amazing. Sometimes things come together in a collaboration like this and you don't expect it to be this sort of lifelong connection. And I know that we have that with them now.
The PlayHouse has been inspired by this project to change our use of single-use plastics, and we switched out all of our utensils for birthday parties, and now we use real utensils instead of plasticware. And we're looking at other ways that we can limit single-use plastics as well.
It's turned out to be the most wonderfully fulfilling class.